everybody, I hope you're all fantastic. We are going to check out two Fender-inspired modules in the Synergy system today, the TDLX module and the B-Man. I'm running them in a Syn 2 into the Syn 5050 power amp and my Marshall cabinet with 25-watt greenbacks. The rest of the signal chain is in the video description. I think the big selling point of the Synergy system is the fact that you can get these, legendary amp makers putting their modules into stuff that can fit in a single rack space. And let's face it, most of those modules are by amp builders we associate with extremely good high gain sounds. Soldano, Bogner, Diesel, Fryette, the list goes on. But for me, one thing that I kind of lack in my wheelhouse is, just a really decent Fender style amp or something like that. So that's why I want to put these two modules side by side and just kind of figure out which one I like better. In doing so, hopefully you can figure out which one is best for you if you're looking at a clean module for your Synergy system, or you're just kind of curious, like, can this thing just do high gain? Can it actually do convincing clean? So let's start off on the twin style channel here. I have the gain all the way up. There are two three-way switches, one for the bright switch, one for the kind of tight switch. Basically, one controls the amount of jangle, one controls the amount of thump, and I'm going to play around with some pickup selections on this guitar. But this is big and fat and clean and twinny. That's copping the vibe right there. If I was exclusively playing on a humbucker equipped guitar, say on the neck pickup, I would probably flick this bright switch up. So let's hear that. If I was exclusively playing on single coils, I would probably flick it down and flick this tight switch down as well, just to give it a bit more low-end thump. If you want to do that classic 80s style clean, this mode on this module would be great with a tight switch in the middle as well, as you heard right at the end there. The thing that impresses me so much about this module, though, is this next mode, this kind of Fender Deluxe inspired mode, because, I grew up playing Marshall style amps, and you just can't get this kind of thing out of a Marshall style amp. And I didn't get it for a long time, and I didn't like it for a long time, but when I kind of put two and two together and figured out how to dial it in on one of the real amps, it was like, I get what people are talking about, and this just cops the vibe to me. So This is where the bright switch and the kind of tight, or as I've been calling it, like the thump switch come in. Let's turn that off, but just crank the gain control right up here. And let's butcher some Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's time for that part of the video. Just the feel on that's being able to adjust the sag control on the Syn 2 as well. That makes me so happy, being able to go from like, I could play with my fingers and it's just a little bit gritty, and then I can really, really dig in with it, and it just squishes in all the right ways. I've been playing on that particular mode on this particular module probably more than any other out of all the Synergy modules I've got here. So I think that speaks volumes. But let's go over to the Bassman style channel, because, you know, if you're like me and you grew up playing Marshalls, this is a little bit closer to a Marshall style sound, especially through a 50-watt Syn 5050 amp. I'm running it in the non-bridged mode as well, so it is a little bit stickier, which is the way I like it. The clean sound here, it's like in between those two modes there, so it's not quite as clean and just, you know, massive headroom as the Twin, but it's not quite as kind of, you know, it doesn't want to get as nasty as quickly as the Deluxe. Again, like the other module, the dynamics on this are really good. I think because of that sag control on the Syn 2, it feels a lot more like actually playing through an amp head. If you've ever played through just like a standalone, you know, rack preamp and rack power amp, you know what I'm talking about there. Steve Fryette, who, you know, designed the Syn 5050 as well, has a great article about that. From memory, it's, you know, because they share the same power supply in a head, whereas a preamp and a power amp would have their own like input and output transformers. So I think there's definitely something in that. But back onto topic, the second channel on this Bassman style module is just like a kind of modded version of this. It's just nasty and disgusting, and it's it would be good to kind of set this one up almost exactly the same as the other one, and it means you don't need a drive pedal. So we go from this sort of thing to the other thing. that's the vibe right there. So I also really like that. If I crank the gain, you get this parallel universe Marshall thing going on. It's not quite like an old Marshall, but it's also not quite like an old Fender. That's horrifically disgusting in all the best ways there. It almost sounds like you've just got an amp that's about to explode, but this is not about to explode. In fact, the whole system is really, really quiet and controlled. So if you were wondering about those Fender-style modules in the Synergy, hopefully that gives you a kind of good idea of what's going on between each of the channels and each of the modules on there. If you have any further questions, as always, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know which modules you would like to hear next on the channel, because it would be cool to eventually explore all of them on here and kind of do them like this, where it's similar types of modules that, you know, you might be sitting there trying to make a decision about which one you get. You know, you want a Fender style module, but you don't know if you want like a deluxe and a twin, or you want a 2-channel Bassman style thing. So if there's other modules like that, let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching the video. I might play you all out back on this deluxe style mode, because it just makes me happy, and I hope you'll find something that makes you all happy as well. Have a great weekend, or whenever I put this video up, a great week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.